Sign it, take the money, and get out of the Shen family. Shen Mengxi slapped an A4 paper on the table. The 5 bold words divorce agreement at the top of the paper deeply stung my heart. I stood there dumbfounded, caught off guard by her sudden proposal for a divorce. Just sign it, please. Sign it quickly. Take the money and leave. The further away, the better. Huh, that was my wife's voice, but she was sitting next to her desk and didn't say a word. Could I hear her thoughts? Shen Mengxi is my wife, the famous female president of Shen's group in Yanhai City. At this moment, she sat behind her desk, wearing a perfect suit, outlining perfect body lines. Underneath her exquisite makeup was a cold and beautiful face, her eyes revealing a cold and ruthless light. My name is Lin Feng, and I am her legal husband in name. At the same time, I am also the most useless live-in son-in-law in everyone's eyes. The central air conditioner in the office was blowing cold air, and the atmosphere inside was abnormally cold and dull. For 3 years, facing this cold female president, I never dared to look her in the eye. Originally, this was a marriage of mutual need. My father was sick and needed $500,000 to treat his illness, and she needed a nominal husband to facilitate the inheritance of Shen's group. For 3 years, I've been doing my best to take care of housework, but I'm still ridiculed and looked down upon by everyone. I thought I was numb to this marriage, but when she really threw the divorce agreement at me, my heart was still filled with sadness. Lin Feng, for 3 years, what contribution have you made besides being a useless house husband? You are not worthy of my identity, Shen Mengxi. She leaned forward slightly, full of oppression, and continued to mock. The commercial house in the suburbs is yours, plus $8 million in cash. This is worthy of your 3 years of hard work. Sign the papers. Disappear from my sight. Disappear from Yanhai City. Don't appear in front of me again, or you'll stain my eyes. The commercial house in the suburbs is an almost abandoned building of the Shen family, simply meant to dismiss a beggar. 8 million is an astronomical figure for ordinary people, but for the Shen family, it is just pocket money. If I hadn't heard her crying, fearful, and helpless voice just now, I would have cursed her out loud. However, Shen Mengxi's anxious voice sounded in my mind again. Lin Feng, I'm sorry, really sorry. I didn't mean to. I can't watch Shen's fall apart. After all, thousands of employees are waiting to eat. Wang Fugui, the heir of the Wang family, has always coveted my body. This time, Shen's group is facing a financial crisis, and the condition he promised to inject capital is that I immediately divorce you and completely cut off contact with you. I know he's already set his sights on you. With his ruthless methods, he will definitely kill you. Only if you leave, the further away, the better. He will believe that I have really completely separated from you. Only then can Shen's group be saved, and you can save your life. Please don't hate me. My heart hurts so much. I want to hug you. Over the years, I have fallen in love with you. When I stabilize Shen's group, I will have many children with you. The last sentence hit my heart like an arrow shot by an angel. Boom! My mind was in an uproar, and a lot of information poured into my mind. Wang Fugui of the Wang family? Injecting capital? The condition is that my wife and I divorce? Shen's group is in financial shortage? It turned out that she was forced to divorce me in order to protect Shen's and her employees, even at the expense of acting as a heartless and indifferent woman. And she actually hid so much helplessness and reluctance in her heart. Looking at the frosty face before me and listening to her unspeakable grievances, a sense of absurdity and indescribable sorrow welled up in my heart. It turned out that behind this divorce agreement, she was bearing everything alone. What? Think it's too little? Seeing me stunned, her tone became more impatient and icy. Lin Feng, one must know when to stop. This is already the greatest alms given to you for your 3 years of hard work. Her mouth spoke the most hurtful words, but her heart was aching. Curse me harder, so he can give up completely. Let him hate me, so he can leave this vortex without looking back. Go. Wang Fugui's people might be watching. I beg you, Lin Feng. I took a deep breath, feigning composure, and gave her a look of extraordinary complexity. This one look made Shen Mengxi flinch slightly in surprise. I slowly reached out and picked up the pen and bank card. Okay. I instantly calmed down, my voice slightly hoarse. I'll sign. Shen Mengxi's tense face relaxed slightly, but her expression remained icy. I picked up the pen, signed my name on the agreement, and pressed my fingerprint. After signing, I threw the pen away and stuffed the bank card in my pants pocket. Shen Mengxi, I looked at her, my voice low. As you wish, I'll sign the divorce, take the money, and get out of Yanhai City. After I finished speaking, I looked up and saw her beautiful eyelashes tremble violently. Remember your choice today. I raised my voice instantly. I, Lin Feng, am not the good-for-nothing you imagined. With that, I strode towards the door without hesitation. Without looking back, I held my head high, striding away, without the timidity I used to have at the Shen family. Just as I walked out of the office, I heard her heart about to collapse again. He's gone, he's finally gone. He's gone, don't ever come back. I'm about to break down. My Lin Feng, please be safe. I seemed to hear her unwilling sob. My steps did not pause at all. I clenched my teeth and hurried away. I thought about how to use my secretly developed business empire to help my CEO wife overcome her difficulties. Stepping out of the Shen Group building, the night wind wrapped in wisps of cold air rushed towards me. Shen Mengxi's heartbroken voice echoed in my mind, constantly stimulating my nerves. My hands clenched tightly, my knuckles turning white with force. The Wang family, Wang Fugui, I muttered. My tone carried a chilling intent, and my chest was filled with anger. He was the notorious ruthless, cunning, and womanizing young master of Yanhai City. This time, he dared to set his sights on my CEO wife. In order to kick me out, he used the life and death of Shen's group as a threat, forcing Shen Mengxi to divorce me. Finally, he planned to slowly win over my CEO wife's heart by investing in Shen's group. What a treacherous and shameless villain. A surge of violent energy instantly rushed into my heart. 3 years of forbearance, and they actually thought I was a useless pushover. If it weren't for certain reasons, I wouldn't have had to marry into the Shen family and choose to be a transparent and useless live-in son-in-law. But in these 3 years, my business empire has also been constantly developing and growing. Mengxi, hang in there. I looked at the office on the top floor of the Shen Group building, my eyes sharp. You really think that divorcing me and driving me away is protecting me? The one who really needs protection is you. I took out my phone, entered a phone number, and dialed it. I want all the information on the Wang Group in Yanhai City. Then, closely monitor its movements and report to me at any time. The Fugui business empire is my biggest secret and my current reliance. Its business layout is not limited to the entire country, but also covers the entire globe. As long as I want, I can understand the secrets of the financial circle of the entire country, or even the world. I have been lurking for 3 years, developing and growing, and have never used it to benefit my CEO wife. For Shen Mengxi, this silly woman who sacrificed herself but deeply loves me, it's time to use the Fugui business empire. At this time, at the headquarters of the Fugui business empire, a group of top hackers gathered here. They received instructions from the behind-the-scenes boss. Target 1. Wang Fugui of the Wang Group in Yanhai City. Target 2. The current core crisis of the Wang Group and the current investment plan of the Wang Group. They began to frantically tap on the code, constantly attacking the internal computers of the Wang Group. However, Wang Fugui's personal office computer and the Wang Group's core server have multiple firewalls. If a forced breakthrough is made, a high-level alarm will be triggered, which is expected to attract the attention of the Wang Group's computer department. The head of the hackers asked the behind-the-scenes boss of the Fugui business empire for instructions, whether to continue the attack. After understanding the situation, I shouted loudly, "Continue the attack, at all costs, break through the blockade, and withdraw after copying the key information." All the hackers in the computer department tried their best to crack Wang Fugui's personal computer and the Wang Group's core server. The hackers lived up to expectations, quickly browsing emails, communication records, financial statement screenshots, and some important recording files. The hackers maintained a high level of mental state, constantly stealing core information from the computer. This process lasted a full 10 minutes, and finally the core information was copied. Then the hackers sent the copied information to my hand. It turned out that the Wang Group's investment plan was actually a conspiracy to annex the Shen Group. It can be seen from some private emails that the Wang Group, in conjunction with overseas capital, caused Shen Group's overseas investment to fail. As a result, the Shen Group had a major funding gap, a deficit of 80 billion, making it difficult to continue the construction of the Guangmao building project. Under the management of Wang Fugui, the Wang Group used investment as bait to force Shen Mengxi to sign a betting agreement. It required to complete the Guangmao building project within a month, otherwise she would have to give up 15% of the shares of the Shen Group. At the same time, she had to divorce me and kick me out of Yanhai City, aiming for him to occupy Shen Mengxi alone. There is also an internal meeting recording of the Wang Group. It was learned from it that they colluded with building material suppliers and tampered with a batch of cement supplied to the Guangmao building project to ensure that the Shen Group could not complete the project with quality and quantity. This batch of problematic cement has been put into the K3 warehouse of the Guangmao building project department, and the transfer records of the bribe funds of the relevant responsible persons have been copied clearly. Damn it! Shen Mengxi, this tiger lady, actually thought that divorcing me and facing Wang Fugui, this jackal, alone would be able to get through the crisis. Naive, so naive. This is undoubtedly falling into the opponent's trap step by step. This copy also contains a lot of evidence of tax evasion and some gray industries of the Wang Group. Humph! Dare to bully my wife. You may have overlooked me, the waste who has been lurking for 3 years. Let me give you a big surprise. Shen's group CEO's office. Shen Mengxi stood alone by the floor-to-ceiling window, her back to the large, desolate office, her body trembling slightly. The signed divorce agreement lay silently on the desk. He took the card, along with her insults, and left without looking back. His deep, resolute words, "Remember your choice today. I, Lin Feng, am not the waste you imagine." She, who never smoked, now held a lady's cigarette between her fingers. She took a deep drag, oblivious to the cigarette burning down to its end. Not a waste? I didn't want you to be a waste either. I longed to stand shoulder to shoulder with you against Wang Fugui, that wild wolf. It's better that you left. If you stayed, you would only be crushed by Wang Fugui's own hand. The ashes fell silently, just like your resolute departure. Lin Feng, have you left Yanhai City? You must be well. Forget me. You must be safe, she murmured. Looking out the window, tears blurred her vision. After reviewing all the core information sent by the hackers from the Maple Emperor Commercial Empire, I made a call, package all the core information anonymously, and sent it to Shen Mengxi, the CEO of Shen's group. Having done all this, I found a hotel, took a nice bath, and changed into some handsome clothes. Then I waited quietly to make my entrance and blind them with my awesomeness. 15 minutes later, Shen Mengxi's personal email, work email, and even her personal phone all simultaneously went crazy with ding-dong notification sounds. Startled, she quickly wiped away her tears and turned back to her desk. Is Wang Fugui playing some trick again? Or is it a payment reminder from the bank? She calmed herself down and clicked on the first personal email that popped up. Sender, anonymous. Subject, the truth behind Wang's group's investment and solutions. Attachment, encrypted compressed file. Her heart pounded, and she eagerly opened the first compressed file. Inside were email screenshots, audio files, meeting minutes, etc. There was also Wang Fugui's sinister plan to take possession of her after forcing her divorce, to secretly sabotage the Guangmao building project, and to carefully set up an impossible betting agreement. Shen Mengxi's face turned pale instantly, and a chill ran down her spine. Beast, what a beast! Wang Fugui is indeed ambitious like a wolf, eating people without spitting out bones. It turned out that her so-called sacrifice and forbearance were nothing more than a sheep deceiving itself in Wang Fugui's eyes. She would not only fail to protect the Su family, but would also become his plaything. Then, she opened another compressed file. Inside were a series of evidence of Hanyuan cement replacing a batch of substandard cement, purchase orders, falsified quality inspection reports, logistics records, photos of the location of the substandard cement storage warehouse, and even audio recordings of the bribery of relevant responsible persons. It was truly conclusive evidence. Just then, her phone rang. It was a call from an unknown number. She hesitated, but still pressed the answer button. Hello, Ms. Shen. The Maple Emperor Commercial Empire is very optimistic about your Shen's group and has invested 90 billion, which has been transferred to your group's public account. Please check. Shen Mengxi was stunned instantly, hit on the head by a windfall, and said in a stuttering voice, Okay, I'll check it right away. After hanging up the phone, she hurriedly opened the group's public account. The number of zeros in the account balance was simply uncountable. It was indeed an investment of 90 billion. Although she didn't know much about this Maple Emperor Commercial Empire, she couldn't worry about so much right now. She had to get through the immediate crisis first and worry about the rest later. Lin Feng, are you safe? Shen seems to be saved. Shen Mengxi muttered, her words filled with longing and concern for Lin Feng. Suddenly, the office door was flung open. Lian, the president's secretary, rushed in, her face pale. President Shen, something bad has happened. There's a problem at the Guangmao building project site. What? Wang Fugui is moving so fast. What's coming will come. This time she has the evidence. The outcome is still uncertain. Shen Mengxi thought to herself. She turned and poured a glass of water, handing it to Li Yin with a calm expression. Don't panic. What happened? Li Yin took a big gulp of water, catching her breath. Director Zhou from the Municipal Quality Supervision Bureau has arrived at the project site with quality inspection personnel. They said they received an anonymous report that our Guangmao building project is using substandard cement, which could pose a significant safety hazard. They're demanding that the construction site be sealed off immediately and a comprehensive investigation be launched. A lot of media outlets have also arrived, even blocking the entrance to the project office. The project manager is trying to buy time. You need to go and handle this quickly. Shen Mengxi was no longer flustered. She organized her evidence, full of confidence. Notify all senior executives to come with me to the Guangmao building project site. Also, have the security department maintain order and prevent those reporters from taking unauthorized photos. Okay, I'll go and notify them now. With that, Li Yin hurried out of the office again. Shen Mengxi plugged in her USB drive and copied all the evidence of Hanyuan Cement's fraud, clutching it tightly in her hand. She muttered to herself, Wang Fugui, you didn't expect I'd have a benefactor to help me, did you? Just wait and see. Just wait for my counterattack. Half an hour later, the project office of the Guangmao building project. The atmosphere in the office was heavy. If this matter wasn't handled well, and the Guangmao building project was sealed off for rectification, it wouldn't be completed on schedule. The Shen Group will be taken over by Wang Fugui. On one side of the conference table sat Director Zhou of the Municipal Quality Supervision Bureau, with several inspection personnel standing behind him. Their faces were stern and upright. On the other side sat the senior executives of the Shen Group, led by Shen Mengxi. Everyone looked grim, their eyes darting around, as if they were hiding something from Shen Mengxi. Outside the office, there were occasional noises, which sounded like news reporters being blocked at the door by security. President Shen, this is the suspension order. Director Zhou said first, his tone official. A document with a red seal was pushed in front of Shen Mengxi. He continued, We received an anonymous report and have preliminary evidence showing that your company's Guangmao building project is suspected of using substandard cement. This concerns the safety of people's lives and property. Please order the project to be completely shut down immediately and cooperate with us in a thorough investigation. The senior executives of the Shun Group gasped when they heard this. They knew that once the project was suspended for rectification, the Shun Group would be finished. Shen Mengxi sat calmly, without the slightest trace of panic, unusually calm. She didn't even look at the suspension order, smiling slightly. Director Zhou and everyone, thank you for making this trip. The Shun Group welcomes the supervision of all regulatory authorities regarding the report. But reports require evidence. It's not in accordance with procedure for you to issue a suspension order so hastily based on just an anonymous report, is it? Director Zhou, a commendable official known for his integrity, slammed his hand on the table. President Shun, we will naturally investigate the evidence. But now, there is a significant suspicion of safety hazards. Suspension for investigation is a necessary procedure. We cannot gamble with the safety of the people. Safety is something the Shun Corporation values more than anyone. Shen Mengxi showed no sign of backing down, her tone solemn. What if someone deliberately fabricated evidence, falsely accusing the Shun Corporation? With that, she picked up the USB drive she had prepared and slapped it on the table. Everyone, this USB drive contains the evidence you need. It can also prove that the Shun Corporation has indeed been framed. Vice President Qin, could you explain why we purchased standard qualified cement from Hanyuan Cement Plant, but what was actually delivered into the warehouse was substandard, counterfeit products? Shen Mengxi gestured for Secretary Li to plug in the USB drive, then operated the computer, and the projector lit up instantly. A clear bank statement and recording file were displayed. Vice President Qin, why did the owner of Hanyuan Cement Plant transfer 1 million to your overseas account? And in the recording, who is this Mr. Wang that was mentioned? Wang Fugui. It was irrefutable evidence. Vice President Qin's face turned pale instantly, and he slumped to the ground powerlessly. At this moment, the project department office was in an uproar. How could this happen? Qin Kuan, you ungrateful wretch, betraying our trust. Wang Fugui is truly ambitious, wanted a plot to swallow up our Shun Corporation. A group of executives stared angrily at Qin Kuan, who was sweating profusely and completely limp. Director Zhou and the others were also stunned. They clearly hadn't expected Shen Mengxi to possess such irrefutable evidence. It seemed things might take a turn for the better. They would just watch the show for now. President Shun, this is slandering me. This transfer was just a kickback. It wasn't my intention to buy substandard cement. You arranged for me to do it. Vice President Qin still wanted to shift the blame, possibly because he hadn't listened carefully to the recording. Everyone present had heard that it was for 1 million that he helped Mr. Wang purchase this batch of substandard cement. Before long, the police walked in, handcuffed Vice President Qin, and took him away. It turned out that Shen Mengxi had reported the crime in advance and sent a copy of the evidence to the police. Shen Mengxi's enigmatic actions instantly turned the tide. Director Zhou, the corporation has internal problems. I apologize for the inconvenience. Shen Mengxi focused her gaze on Director Zhou. This batch of cement is still sealed in the warehouse, and you can send people to inspect it. As for this suspension order, upon hearing this, Director Zhou took out his phone and made a call. Second team, go to Project Department K3 warehouse to check if there's a batch of about 10 tons of substandard cement. After Director Zhou hung up, the expressions of the executives in the office became serious again. A quarter of an hour later, Director Zhou's phone rang, and a voice came from the other end. Director Zhou, there is indeed a batch of substandard cement in the K3 warehouse, exactly 10 tons. It seemed this batch of substandard cement had not been used yet, which could resolve the safety hazard accusation. Shen Mengxi continued, I guarantee, with the Shun Corporation's and my personal reputation, that the Guangmao building project's main structure is absolutely safe, and the substandard cement has not been used. All our monitoring records and inspection reports are available for review at any time. Therefore, I request that, under your supervision, a joint inspection team be formed by our Shun Corporation and a third-party authority to conduct a comprehensive and transparent re-examination of the Guangmao building project. If there is a real problem, the Shun Corporation will bear all responsibility. If there is no problem, please, Director Zhou, uphold justice for my Shun Corporation and severely punish the slanderers. Shen Mengxi's statement was resounding, forceful, and confident. President Shun, Director Zhou pondered for a moment, his tone lacking the previous severity. I will carefully consider your evidence and request. The joint inspection team proposal is feasible, but until the final results are out, the Guangmao building project must be suspended. Suspending construction, although better than a complete shutdown, would still bring huge losses and negative impacts. Shen Mengxi was stunned upon hearing this. She also understood that this was Director Zhou's biggest concession. Wait! Just then, a hearty voice rang out. Everyone in the office looked towards the sound, only to see a figure appearing at the conference room door, unnoticed. That's right. I appeared, wearing a suit and tie, my leather shoes gleaming. A faint smile played on my lips, the corners slightly upturned. The moment Shen Mengxi saw me, her mind went blank. Her heart felt as if it had been seized by an invisible hand, ceasing to beat. Her expression shifted back and forth, from astonishment, surprise, to fear, to pain. Then I heard her inner voice again. Lin Feng, have you lost your mind? What are you doing back here? Get out of here. It's too dangerous. Don't come back and get involved, please. Director Zhou frowned and scolded. Who are you? This isn't a place for you to be. I ignored Director Zhou, my gaze softly locked onto the anxious and feigning composure of my female CEO wife, Shen Mengxi. I smirked mischievously and walked straight towards her, her brain frozen. Watching me approach step by step, Shen Mengxi's heart pounded incessantly. I came to her side, my gaze sweeping across the room, finally resting on Director Zhou. A smile adorned my face, a smile imbued with confidence and a sense of pressure. I reached out and quickly grasped Shen Mengxi's small, tense, trembling hand, the touch soft and cold. She shuddered violently, instinctively wanting to pull her hand away, but I held it tightly with unwavering dominance. The entire room fell silent, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I once again swept my gaze across the room and announced loudly, I am Lin Feng, Shen Mengxi's legal husband, and also the behind-the-scenes controller of the Maple Emperor business empire, which has just invested 90 billion into Shun's group. Furthermore, Wang Fugui's every conspiracy is under my control. Shen Mengxi's eyes widened abruptly, her face filled with disbelief. Unbelievable. How could this be? How could he be the controller of the Maple Emperor business empire? The entire conference room was completely silent. Everyone was stunned, as if someone had pressed the pause button. Shen Mengxi's mind was a complete roar, utterly incapable of thinking. She looked at me, my face confident and calm, exuding an aura of dominance, her mind filled with questions. Husband, Lin Feng, the former good-for-nothing husband. Now, the controller of the Maple Emperor business empire that invested 90 billion. How is this possible? Even a wish-fulfillment novel wouldn't dare to write it like this. Her inner voice was once again filled with shock. No way. What nonsense are you talking about? How could you possibly be a big shot who invested 90 billion? Director Zhou was completely dumbfounded. He looked back and forth between Shen Mengxi and me, finally fixing his gaze on our clasped hands, unable to understand what was happening. Mr. Lin, what are you saying? Director Zhou's voice was full of uncertainty. I didn't answer Director Zhou immediately. Instead, I looked at Shen Mengxi with tenderness and heartache in my eyes. Mengxi, don't be afraid. I'm here for you. Then, I turned to Director Zhou with a firm tone. Director Zhou, someone will compensate for the losses caused by the suspension of the project and the damage to Shun's group's reputation due to this frame-up. With that, he walked to the computer and casually operated it a few times. Two breaking news alerts from Yunhai City's largest financial news outlet were displayed on the projector on the wall. Shocking reversal. Wang Fugui of the Wang Group suspected of malicious commercial fraud and stock market manipulation. Ironclad evidence. The Fengdi commercial empire injects 90 billion yuan into Shen's, staving off the collapse of Shen's group. The controller behind the scenes remains a mystery. The entire room was once again shocked by the news on the projector. I looked at Director Zhou with unwavering eyes. I guarantee, as the controller of the Fengdi commercial empire and Shen Mengxi's husband, that the quality of Guangmao building is absolutely top-notch. A joint inspection team can move in at any time, and the entire inspection process will be live-streamed. If any problems are found, Shen Mengxi and I will jointly bear all the responsibility. If there are no problems, I scanned every executive in the room with their own agendas. I hope everyone can make public the truth about how Wang Fugui of the Wang Group framed Shen's group and restore my wife's innocence. Resounding, majestic. The room was silent, with only the sound of each other's breathing. Director Zhou was stunned by my words. Coupled with the two shocking news pushes, it dispelled the last trace of doubt in his mind. Shen Mengxi, on the other hand, stared blankly at my profile. My upright figure, the warmth and support conveyed from my palm to hers. The indifference and deliberate distance kept for the past 3 years of living as a live-in son-in-law. The heartbreaking words spoken when signing the divorce agreement. And facing Wang Fugui's pressure alone, silently enduring the pain. Complex emotions arose deep within Shen Mengxi's heart. At this moment, she could no longer suppress it. All the emotions completely shattered her long-frozen defenses. Sob. She couldn't help but choke up, and sparkling tears fell like rain, instantly soaking the conference table. She suddenly turned around and, amidst the envious gazes of everyone, threw herself into my arms. Her hands tightly hugged my waist, as if afraid that I would leave her again. Lin Feng, wah! Her cold disguise completely shattered, and she cried out loud like a child who had suffered countless grievances. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have driven you away, shouldn't have said those things. Stop. I thought that was protecting you. I'm so scared. I'm really scared. Wang Fugui, why did you only come to help me now? Why are you so mean? Wah! Shen Mengxi cried so hard that she was almost incoherent, as if she wanted to vent all her fear, grievance, and love. I could only hold her tightly, letting her tears soak my clothes, my heart aching beyond words. I gently patted her back, my voice soft. Silly girl, it's all over, I said. I'm not a useless good-for-nothing. I'm really back. With me here, no one can bully you. From now on, let me protect you. Shen Mengxi, your good-for-nothing husband is back. You can forget about getting rid of me in this lifetime. With that, I left a love bite on her tear-streaked cheek. Silence filled the conference room. They were deeply moved by the emotional interaction between Shen Mengxi and me. No one could bear to break this blissful scene. At this moment, the conference room was filled only with Shen Mengxi's uncontrollable sobbing and my soothing words. Director Zhou and the senior executives stared in stunned silence at the dramatic scene unfolding before them. The aloof and unapproachable Ice Queen CEO was now crying like a child in a man's arms. And this man was the good-for-nothing, live-in son-in-law that everyone had mocked. Yet, this good-for-nothing had turned the tide, exposed the mole, resolved the deadly crisis, and even attracted billions in investment. He had single-handedly pushed the behemoth that was the Wang Group into an abyss of no return. How could this be a waste? This was clearly a dragon in slumber, now awakened. Everyone's worldview was completely shattered at that moment. The gazes they turned to me were filled with unprecedented awe and shock. As the dust settled, everyone departed. Only Shen Mengxi and I remained in the office. Suddenly, Shen Mengxi grabbed my ear and said, her cheeks puffed up with anger, Lin Feng, you actually deceived me for 3 years. 3 whole years. Do you know how much gossip I heard about you every day? I worried about you for 3 whole years. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? If I'm not satisfied, the divorce agreement is still valid. Ouch! It hurts. It hurts. Let go. You're going to tear my ear off. From now on, you'll be the mistress of the phone empire. A business empire worth hundreds of billions will be yours. Just forgive me. Ear pulling really freaking hurts. Anyone who's tried it knows. I don't want to be any mistress. I want to rely on my own efforts to make the Shen group bigger and stronger. Shen Mengxi pouted and released my ear. I rubbed my ear and gave her a pitiful look. Seeing my expression, she burst out laughing. My eyes, Queen Xiao, wife looks so beautiful when she smiles that I couldn't help but stare, exclaiming, "Wife, you look so beautiful when you smile, devastatingly beautiful, unparalleled in beauty." Heh, smooth talker. Let's go home, get some rest. And tomorrow we'll invite Director Zhou and the third-party testing company to Guangmao building to inspect the quality issues. Shen Mengxi saw my lovesick look and giggled. Call me husband, and I'll go. I grabbed her hand and started swinging it, acting spoiled. Husband. She whispered the word and quickly walked out of the office. Hearing her call me husband for the first time, my heart was filled with joy. With the first step, there would be a second, and then a third. Filled with beautiful dreams, I quickly followed her. The next day, at the Guangmao building construction site, Director Zhou, along with several staff members and technical experts from a third-party testing company, arrived at the construction site on time. Bai Bing, a well-known local news reporter, also arrived with her team. They had already adjusted their cameras and were leading viewers to watch the Guangmao building quality inspection process through live broadcast. At the construction site, a middle-aged man wearing a mask was lurking in a corner, gnashing his teeth and staring at Shen Mengxi. Everyone's attention was focused on Director Zhou and the experts, and no one noticed him at all. Shen Mengxi, accompanied by me, greeted Director Zhou and the technical experts. Director Zhou and experts, thank you for making this trip. Shen Mengxi hurriedly stepped forward and shook hands with them one by one. After some pleasantries, they began the quality inspection of Guangmao building. The technical experts first conducted a detailed review of the project documents, construction drawings, and material inspection reports. Each document was carefully compared to ensure that the project information met the standards. Then, they entered the construction site to inspect the processes such as steel reinforcement binding, concrete pouring, and wall construction. They used professional equipment to conduct on-site testing of indicators such as concrete strength and rebar spacing, and the data was recorded in real time. Many of the viewers watching the live broadcast were veterans in the construction industry. They also learned from it that Guangmao building had strict control in all aspects, and the quality was well controlled. Shen's group has also gained recognition from the general public. After 2 hours of careful surveying and inspection, the technical experts assessed various technologies. It was unanimously believed that the quality of Guangmao building was quite good, and there was no question of using substandard building materials. The live broadcast of the quality inspection action came to a successful conclusion. Shen Mengxi prepared a banquet at the project department to entertain everyone. Just as everyone was enthusiastically heading to the project department, a masked man took out a dagger from his pocket and slowly approached Shen Mengxi. Shen Mengxi was walking in front of me, chatting and laughing with Director Zhou. I didn't expect the female president's management of Shen's group to be quite good. The quality control of this project is seamless. It's amazing. The shopkeeper of the Fugui business empire, am really not as good as her. Oh. My teeth are not good, so it is more suitable to live off a woman. If those thug brothers knew that the dignified dragon god, the king of solo soldiers, just wanted to live off a woman, I don't know what their expressions would be. Suddenly, his professional habits made him notice that there was a person in the crowd who was approaching Shen Mengxi with murderous intent. Not good. Someone wants to kill my wife. The masked man was only 1 step away from Shen Mengxi when he stabbed the dagger straight at Shen Mengxi's chest. Director Zhou was stunned for a while and was stunned on the spot. Shen Mengxi stared wide-eyed in horror and stood there at a loss. In a critical moment, I came to Shen Mengxi's side first, used a grappling technique to grab the masked man's wrist and dodge the dagger. Then he kicked him in the stomach, knocking him to the ground, arching like a shrimp, his facial expression twisted in pain. I rushed up quickly and took off his mask to see who dared to assassinate my wife. Wang Fugui. Damn it! How could it be Wang Fugui? Shouldn't he be in prison at this time? The assailant was subdued, and thunderous applause erupted on the scene. Shen Mengxi and director Zhou finally came to their senses. When she saw that the subdued assailant was Wang Fugui, she trembled all over. Mustering her courage, she strode forward and, with her high-heeled shoe, kicked Wang Fugui directly in the abdomen. Shen Mengxi, you deserve to die. Shen Mengxi, still not appeased, delivered 5 or 6 kicks in a row, each hitting Wang Fugui's abdomen. In the end, Wang Fugui actually fainted from the pain. Only then did she stop, ceasing her kicks and catching her breath while supporting her waist. Director Zhou, feeling he had lost face, had already dialed the police, claiming that he would severely punish the assailant who dared to assassinate President Shen in front of him. Shen Mengxi suddenly stared straight at me, feigning anger, and said, Well, how much more are you hiding from me? For 3 years, I had no idea you were so capable. Confess the truth right now, or you'll be in trouble when you get home. She paused suddenly, a wicked smile on her face. Have you ever heard this saying? There is no field that cannot be tilled, only oxen that die of exhaustion. Suddenly, her inner voice came. I'll devour you when we get back tonight. See if you'll be dishonest. Damn, is this still the Ice Queen CEO? Hearing my wife's inner voice is going to kill me. Wife, I confess, I will tell you all my secrets. The end.